All right, let's get right into it. If you're gearing up for a SysAdmin interview these days, you've probably noticed something. The game has totally changed. It's not about memorizing answers from a book anymore. Nope. Now it's all about showing your strategic thinking, how you approach a problem, how you troubleshoot, and, maybe most importantly, how you connect all that tech stuff back to what the business actually needs.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. Interviewers are way more interested in how you think than what you know by heart. They want to see your process, your methodology. They're not looking for a walking encyclopedia. They're looking for a problem solver. So that's what we're going to focus on here, building that framework you can use to show them exactly how you tackle things.
You know, the whole SysAdmin job has done a complete 180 over the years, and you better believe the interviews have changed right along with it. We're way past the days of just stacking servers and clicking update.
And this really gets to the heart of the change, right? It's this huge shift from being reactive to being proactive. Think about it. The old school sysadmin, total firefighter. An alarm goes off, they run in and put out the fire. But the modern sysadmin, they're more like an architect. They're designing and building systems with automation, systems that can heal themselves, systems that, prevent the fire from even starting in the first place. That is the mindset they want to see in that interview room.
All right, so let's break this down. We'll start with Pillar 1, core infrastructure. These are the absolute gotta-know-em non-negotiables. And kicking things off, Active Directory. Look, for pretty much any company running on Windows, AD is the central nervous system. It's the heart of who gets access to what. You have got to have a solid grasp on how it manages users, computers, groups, all of it. At the end of the day, it's the bouncer at the door for the entire network.
Next up, DNS. And seriously, I can't say this enough. When something breaks and you have no idea why, check DNS. It's always DNS, right? It's the phone book for the entire internet. If that's broken, literally nothing else works. Proving you can systematically track down a DNS problem, that's a huge green flag for an interviewer.
And let's talk about your last line of defense. Because when everything, and I mean everything, goes sideways, your backups are what will save your job. But here's the thing, it's not enough to just say you do backups. You need a rock-solid strategy that you can confidently explain and justify. And a fantastic way to frame that is with the 3-2-1 rule. This is the industry gold standard, and it's super easy to remember. You want 3 copies of your data on 2 different types of media, with at least one of those copies stored off-site. Simple, right? But it's so effective, and explaining it clearly shows you're serious about keeping data safe.
Okay, moving on to Pillar 2. This is where we get into automation and security. We're shifting gears from the foundational stuff to the skills that let you get ahead of problems instead of just reacting to them. But here's the tricky part, isn't it? Anybody can throw automation onto their resume. So how do you actually prove you know what you're doing? How do you convince them you can walk the walk? Well, you show them something tangible, something real. Take this for example, a simple one-line PowerShell command. We've all been there. The dreaded print spoiler service is stuck again. Instead of logging into each server one by one, this one line fixes it on multiple machines instantly. It's clean, it's efficient, and it screams, I know how to solve real problems with code. But wait, there's more. Using a powerful tool like PowerShell is one thing, securing it is another. A fantastic way to show you're thinking at a higher level is to immediately pivot to the security side. So the natural next question is, great, how do we make sure a tool this powerful can't be turned against us?
And that's when you bring up these strategies. You talk about things like just enough administration, or JEA, so people only get the exact permissions they need. You mentioned turning on script block logging, so you have a full audit trail of every command that's run. You talk about execution policies. This isn't just about scripting. This is about showing you think like a security professional. Okay, on to Pillar 3, troubleshooting and performance. Because let's be real, no matter how much you automate, stuff is still going to break. The real test is having a cool head and a clear, logical plan when it does.
So let's paint a picture. An important application is crashing, but only sometimes. Users are getting frustrated, the pressure is mounting. What do you do? Panicking isn't a strategy. They want to hear your methodology. This is where you lay out a step-by-step plan. You start simple, right? Check the event logs. What's the system telling you? Nothing there? Okay, level up. Fire up Process Monitor and see exactly what that application is doing right before it faceplants. Still nothing? Let's look at the bigger picture with Performance Monitor. Are we running out of memory or CPU? And for the really nasty problems, you show you're not afraid to go deep and analyze a memory dump. It shows you're calm, you're logical, you're in control.
And of course, the best way to troubleshoot is to prevent the issue in the first place. That means monitoring. You need to be keeping an eye on the big four: CPU, memory, disk I/O, and the network. The key is to know what normal looks like. When you have that baseline, you can spot a problem brewing long before it takes everything down.
All right, let's get into our last big technical topic, the modern toolkit. This is all about the stuff that connects the traditional SysAdmin world to where everything is heading: cloud, containers, and all things DevOps.
And here's a question you can almost bet you'll be asked. What's the difference between a container and a VM? The easiest way to explain it is this. Containers are lightweight because they all share the host operating system's kernel. A VM, on the other hand, is a heavyweight. It has to emulate an entire computer with its own full-blown OS. So it's really about application isolation versus entire machine isolation.
And once you're talking containers, you're in the world of DevOps. You've got to be comfortable with these key ideas. Things like infrastructure as code, where you define your servers and text files. CI/CD pipelines, which automate the whole process of building and deploying software. And, of course, the big one, container orchestration, with tools like Kubernetes to manage all those containers.
Look, this field moves at lightning speed. What's cutting edge today is standard tomorrow. That's why continuous learning is so critical. Getting certifications isn't just about padding your resume. It's about showing a genuine commitment to keeping your skills sharp. It proves you're serious about your craft.
So we've gone through a ton of tech stuff, right? Core infrastructure, automation, troubleshooting. But what's the one thing that ties it all together? It's not a specific piece of software or command you memorized. It's all about how you think. And if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. A good sysadmin knows how the tech works. A great sysadmin knows why the tech matters to the business. It's about connecting the dots. Being able to explain why you choose one solution over another, not just based on technical specs, but on what it means for the company's bottom line. That's what separates the best from the rest.
So as you walk into that next interview, I want to leave you with this final thought. The role is evolving faster than ever. So ask yourself, are you a manager of servers or are you an architect of systems? Are you the person who just keeps the lights on, or are you the one designing the automated, resilient, and secure systems that will power the business tomorrow?